see everyone, and I'm excited because college basketball starts today. So actually one of our opponents just tipped off a little bit ago in Notre Dame and South Carolina. So really excited about this season and to get going tomorrow night. We got a big week with 2 games this week, and starting obviously tomorrow with Morehead State, and then going on the road to Marquette, which will be a really, really tough game, but it'll be good for us. We need that road test early on, so I'm excited to see where we're at, and we're going to know that this week really where we stand and what we need to continue to work on. But really happy with the team so far, and again, excited to get going. So I'll open it up to questions.
When Tyra didn't finish the exhibition game, any update on her status and availability?
Yeah, as of right now, it's really day to day. We're trying to see symptoms and how she's doing. So day to day.
What would it mean for you guys, depth-wise, if she is unavailable tomorrow?
It's like anything. We faced injuries and illnesses last year, and it's part of the game. So it's next woman up, and we're deeper than we were last year. So just different people would have to step up. I mean, that's all part of every sport. So I know our team will be ready if that's the case, and hopefully we'll have hopefully we're healthy the whole year. But as we know, it doesn't happen. So I know we'll be ready, whoever that is and whenever that is.
How much does it help too that Genesis has played the point, so you can there's some tie over there if you had to play her at that position? How much comfort level do you have with her?
Yeah, I mean, I'm way more comfortable this year than even last year. And you guys remember, even I think it was the Missouri game, right? Makara was out, and that's when Jen kind of stepped up and really got her start for that season of just exploding. So yeah, this year's a little bit different. I think that I've comfort and trust in every single person, whether it's even Cam this year, if it's a point guard situation, she understands what it takes now. So that's a nice thing about adding some pieces. You have a little bit more options, if an injury, whatever, happened, because knock on wood, it doesn't happen the rest of the year, but I'm sure something's going to come up at one time or another.
So I know you mentioned some other non-conference opponents that are really highly thought of this year. What was the process for you guys in building that non-conference schedule, and just maybe resume-wise as well?
I've always believed that you have to play the best in order to be the best, and we had to do the same thing when we were at Dayton, to get those non-conference, opponents, high level, high net opponents early. It's a little bit different because we have the Big Ten now, and our schedule in the Big Ten this year is a heck of a lot harder than it was last year. So I think we needed that fine line of being tested early, having some good opportunities, but also not killing yourselves in the non-conference. So I think that this team, it's always about what your team needs and where they're at in terms of where you're at as a team, right? Last year, I think our schedule fit us. We didn't know. This year, I think our schedule fits us in terms of, challenging ourselves a little bit more with, again, at Marquette, great road opportunity, and that's a great, resume opportunity as well. And then the Notre Dame game, we had that opportunity to play that. They had asked us, and I just thought that was a no-brainer, a neutral site. We knew they were going to be a top 10 team in the country, national televised. There's a lot of different things that go into that. We scrimmaged them last year, so it'll be really good for us. And then the Arkansas and Missouris and some of them, I think, are going to be really challenging. So it won't be like last non-conference where it was every game was a 50 point win. There's going to be some really tough tests for us.
Coach, what can you tell us about Morehead State? What jumps out at you about that team?
It's hard to look at them in this first few games of some of these schools because they have almost a whole new roster. They brought in a lot of junior college kids. So we're watching film, trying to get scouting stuff on them in junior college just to see personnel. So it's, at these games, I'm really more concerned about us and what we do and how we play and how we defend and sticking to our principles. I always say, really, we should be able to defend anyone we play without a scouting report if we stick to our principles and our core values defensively and offensively. Obviously, we don't go into any game without a scout, but they're going to get up and pressure us. They spread the floor. They're athletic. Not as big as us, but they're extremely athletic. So again, we got to focus on us, and especially in a game where we don't really have footage of half their team. We don't know what they're going to do.
What are you most looking forward to learning about your team in the first couple games of the year?
I think each game presents different things, right? The first game is just how are we going to come out and really, you guys know me by now, and especially from exhibition and scrimmage, how are we gonna defend? And what's our intensity level? How disciplined are we gonna be possession by possession defensively? That's number one, especially tomorrow night. And then at Marquette, really the challenge is, and what I'm excited to see is how do we go on the road early on, second game, and how do we play against a really tough physical team? They're very well coached. They're going to be physical. They're tough. They're defensive minded, and you're not in State Farm Center. So I just want to see what really what you're made of, and how you're going to respond in that situation.
When you look at, just Camille Hobby and just the newcomers in general, getting them up to pace with the way you want to play, what does that process kind of look like, and where do you feel like you're at in terms of that?
Yeah, it's a process, and we're better than what we were even a month ago, 2 months ago, but I think that there's still there's still growth to be had, and she's not used to playing at the tempo we're playing, but she's doing a great job of embracing it. So I think games will help. There's nothing better than games, because now she's going to get that experience of, how long can you sustain playing both ends on the floor at the pace and the intensity level that we want. So I think that those are some of the things that, again, I'm excited to see the growth and Hobby and how she does with that.
Of your 6 returners that you bring back, maybe other than KB, who would you say are your best communicators? Is that something you're looking for out of the veterans a little more this year?
Yeah, definitely, and it's something we're continuing to be on them about, because I think that's another area we've really been harping on them and trying to focus on our communication, and then how to communicate effectively and saying the right things. Sometimes they're saying stuff, but it's not a good transfer of information, and it has to be quick, but it has to be loud, it has to be efficient. So we're continuing every day to talk about talking. And yes, I rely heavily on our veterans and our returners. The most vocal on the court are usually KB and Makaira. Genesis leads in her own way, and Jada and Dal and all them kind of lead in their own way. But in terms of vocalness in practice or some of that, those are our 2 most vocal. But there's a lot of ways to lead and a lot of ways to communicate effectively.
I know you talked a lot about defense after the exhibition. What's this week look like for you guys to kind of get that where you want it to be?
Yeah, it was a lot of, just focusing in on the fundamentals of just closeouts. Like for us and our defense, it all really starts about our closeout. And if we can win what we call the 2-dribble war, if we can win our 2-dribble wars, and we're going to probably have a successful possession in that first one. If we get blown by early, now we're scrambling, now when we're in rotations, that's not how we play. And you saw that. That's why I was losing my mind on, last Monday, too many blow-bys. And they did a great job. Truman State's actually a really good team. If you think about what they run, how they space you, they're all able to shoot the 3. So if you don't win a 2-dribble war against a team like that, there's not built-in help, because it was also space. So that's been our focus, is really our closeouts, winning 2-dribble wars, and just having pride of doing your job on the ball.
What, if anything, is clearly better amongst the returners, where you've seen the most gains in the offseason?
Just a complete understanding and confidence in what we're doing. Where last year at this time, we were still learning everything. They were learning, what we wanted defensively, what we wanted, even intensity level, and the consistency. I mean, everything was new. So now they understand that, and I think just having that gives them more confidence, and it gives me more trust in them, and hopefully they have more trust in me because of that. So I think that's a lot of what I've seen the benefits has been, and because all that stuff translates into the coaching, the X and O's, and everything. We can get a little bit further ahead because we have that trust and those relationships.
What have you just kind of seen from Jada Peoples just in terms of her growth on the defensive end? You kind of referenced it in the exhibition game.
I've said it now to people the last week or so. I think she's probably the person that I've seen the most growth from when I got here to now. Coming off last season, she was coming off that ankle surgery in the summer, and just again a brand new coach, brand new system, not understanding what we were trying to do, And now to see her after a full, year and a half and a whole summer of training and workouts, she's not a one-dimensional player anymore. Last year she was mostly a catch-and-shoot player. Now she's putting it on the floor. She's able to attack the rim. She's able to hit pull-ups in that mid-range. And what I love the most is her defensive ability. With her length and her ability to move, it really, really helps us. So I challenged her a week or two ago, I forget what it was, and I said in front of the entire team that I think she should be and could be one of our best defenders. So I want to challenge her to that. And tonight or tomorrow night, we're putting her on the leading scorer, of Morehead State. So giving her some assignments early to hopefully really buy in and take that challenge, and hopefully that'll pay off come Big Ten play and come some of these big time, games where we have big wings and we need to be able to lock them up.
You mentioned Cameron earlier, and she got some extended run in the second half. What have her growth points been from her freshman to her sophomore year?
Yeah, she's come so far too. And the thing about Cam that, I love is that last year she worked, and she didn't get a ton of minutes, but she was always the one in the gym getting extra work in with her position coach. She's in watching film. Like she was in that stay ready so you don't have to get ready mindset, right? Like she was just working and constantly improving day to day. So I told her the other day, when Makara went out in the exhibition game, I'm like, you're ready for this because this is what you've worked for. So just valuing the ball, taking care of the ball, running a team, understanding our offense. She's a really good on-ball defender, so I really trust her with being able to keep the ball in front of her. She's made huge strides, so I know she's ready to go a lot more, whatever that looks like each game this season.
Coach, how do you think that the team has handled and will handle, being more in the spotlight and being one of those teams that opponents kind of circle on their schedule?
We'll see, right? That's one of those things that then we're going to see how we handle it all. I mean, we haven't really, doesn't change anything we do. It's about our process, how we go about our business every day. My expectation's the same of them every day in practice now than it was a year ago at this time. And it's to give everything you have, be as disciplined as you can, play as hard as you can, be as passionate as you can, as together as you can, and just work. So, having a number in front of you, like, you make that more than what it is, it's going to be more than what it is. So it hasn't changed our approach, it hasn't changed our process, but they also have to understand, we talked about this last year some, that number does make people want to beat you more. And so that's the only, but we can't control that, we can only control ourselves.
Is Shay still kind of working her way through post-injury, or I know she played a little bit of Duke last year, but does she kind of still have an indication of who she is post-injury now?
I think injury-wise, she's feeling really, really good. So I don't think that's, anything that's bothering her. I think it's just, she's pretty much like a freshman. And I think it's just going to be a process for her. And what I love about Shay is that she works. She has a ton of energy. She comes in, you saw her in the game. She's everywhere. She's talking. She's flying around, getting rebounds. And she's going to continue to improve. And she can shoot the ball at an elite level. So I think it's just going to be more about game experience with her and just still getting a better feel for offensively and defensively what we want here. And again, I think experience handles a lot of that. So I expect her path to just continue to get better and better each and every day.
You talked about Adalia and her ability to shoot, or your desire to see her maybe shoot a little bit more. What can that do for her to get some of those up in the non-conference before you get into Big Ten?
Yeah, that's exactly, we're on the same page. So that's what I told her the other night. I want you to shoot. Where towards the end of last year, I was telling her not to take those shots because it wasn't helping our team. But right now, I'm telling her, I know how hard she worked all summer. I know how she's been shooting it in practice. So I'm trying to just, really pump her with confidence to have the confidence to take them into games. So I told her the other night, if you're that wide open, I want you to take them. Because if she can make a couple now people have to respect her a little bit, and now they're going to not play off of her, which everyone is going to play off of her until, she can consistently make a three-point shot. And now if they don't play off of her, it clears the lane up because they can't play off of anyone else. And you saw that last year. A lot of teams would literally put her defender just in the paint as an extra defender, and we can't have that clog the paint up. So I'll be the first one telling her to shoot it if she's open in these non-conference games.
Last one
From
more?
KB, what kind of seen from her, you know, just in terms of her shot from mid-range and outside, what have you kind of seen that development from her?
You know, she's shooting at a high level right now in practice. Even just yesterday, she made a couple, and she's not hesitating. So I'm really hoping, and I'm going to be telling her as well, take those. If you're open, take them. Take them in the game just like you do in practice. Not think about it, let it fly. And if she can start making them, you saw Hobby take one the other night. Hobby can make them too. So if we can have our 5 players now start making threes, we're going to be really, really hard to guard, because now in all of our ball screen stuff, you're going to have to make a decision on how you're going to guard that. And it's the more people we can have shoot out there, the harder to guard we are, and that's obviously the goal.